We're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to our Mastermind group. This is kind of a fun one. We're going to do a couple things here. So I want to kind of just dive right in. We just came off a great leadership session down in Las Vegas, and a couple of you attended. And I want you guys to go first, kind of with your takeaways. And then I apologize. I know I sent out our homework assignment kind of last second. That's my fault. But I do want to go over that homework assignment of leadership. So I am convinced after coming back from leadership and the current book that I'm reading right now in personal development, I'm convinced that we need to do another round of leadership, of how we can be better, because that's what it's going to come down to. I think if we want our business to improve, we need to improve. A lot of times mastermind calls are a lot about how can I help the people below me, which is great. And we will get there, I promise, before the end of the year. But I'm still more concerned about this guy right here, about how I can become a better leader, how I can figure out how to be better myself, so that when I do lead others, it actually creates momentum. There's movement. There's people who actually move, and so that both parties aren't frustrated. I will get to that, but I do have some takeaways that I want to share from this past event. Just want to make sure, from this group, how many people went to leadership? Okay, 2 of you. Perfect. And so I'm going to have the 2 of you kind of get us started with your main takeaways. Lindsay, do you want to go first or second? I know you got kids crazy everywhere. Hold on, you're muted.
Oh, there I am. Okay, hold on.
We'll have you go second. That's Sandra. Let's have you. Oh.
Hey.
Okay. Well, we're gonna have Sandra go, if that's all right with you. All right, Sandra. Let's. You were there. Sandra kind of has a unique situation. She showed up. She was supposed to be there for the elite stuff and had a family emergency, which I hope, by the way, everything has turning out a little bit better. But she was there for the general session. So Sandra, let's have you kind of fill us in on your main takeaways from this past weekend.
I mean, leadership, this is my second leadership, and it is always so amazing. It's just so nice to be, with an intimate group. So my takeaways were first, the great products and the new things that we have coming out, because I feel like Beachbody is really listening to us, and a lot of the stuff that they spoke about, a lot of things that leaders spoke about, was all about listening to us and understanding all of the things that we are struggling with and the changes that they have made to make sure that, this company and our businesses really just, continue forward and become the best that they can possibly be. I mean, I was just talking to my upline. I was rooming with my upline, and the night before we were saying, God, I wish I had this, and I wish I had this. And, and she was like, well, maybe I'll talk to Carl about this. And then I got to the training, and boom, right off the bat, it was like, we wanted something more to sell other than Shakeology. Boom, the bars came out. And then I was like, I feel like we need to focus more on nutrition other than just workouts and this and that. Boom, a nutrition plan came out. And it was just like, she was running late, and I was like, you got to get here. Everything that we talked about last night is actually happening today. So it was just, that part really ignited me and excited me, because I just have kind of felt like, how kind of like racking my brain, how can I really try to do things to make this business and make my volume grow? And they've just immediately given us the tools that are going to help us do that. And then real quick, my second takeaway, by far, Mel Robbins, the author of 5 Second Rule. I hope did they tape that for us to you guys to share?
I don't know what was in the contract, if we're allowed to share or not, but we did tape it.
Oh my gosh, you guys. I mean, honestly, I feel like after
I
that
have
she
it.
changed my life.
I taped it. Don't tell anyone.
Well, then if it just accidentally shows up in our group page, then I don't know what we can do about it.
Okay.
Lindsay, did you tape it from like start to finish? Oh my God, that would
I
be
was streaming it on. I was live on my team page, so the whole entire thing is there, like start to finish.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, you should share it with this group because honestly, like just her perspective and everything that she said, I mean, if anything, that's what really got me going for coming back and really trying to put my business back in order. And I know a lot of us talk about that we started in 2014 and we're all in a rebuild phase. This leadership couldn't have come at a better time to really ignite that rebuild. So I just want you guys all to know so many good things are coming.
Good. Does everybody know the 2 flavors of the bars? It has enough buzz gone around. And do we know what the new nutrition program she's talking about? Yes, I see a lot of that. Okay, great. You know what? I'll tell you this. They handed out samples of bars. Guess who didn't get one? I have no idea what the bars taste like yet.
They're amazing.
Kevin, I can send you mine because they both have tree nuts in them, and I can't eat them.
I just need this much of a little piece. I just need this much. I just need to try. Okay, thanks, Andrea, for sharing that. Lindsay, I want to hear your takeaways. You were there for the elite portion as well as the entire deal. I want to get your main takeaways from leadership.
Okay, so I thought that this leadership was amazing. I was at last year's leadership too, and I felt they were both unbelievable, but they were both very, very different in the topics that we covered. Last year was more about like, guys, we got to get back to basics. Like we're forgetting, you know, we're so focused on all the shiny stuff that we're forgetting to ask people what their weight is every week and check-ins and stuff like that. I feel like that was more like, we can do this, we can rebuild, like everything's going to be okay. And this was more like just throwing stuff at you to like make your business better and like build it better. So I did feel a very different vibe this time. Like it was much like I felt like we came back stronger this year, if that makes sense. So there were so many good things, and I'm sure there's going to be so many YouTube videos put up. So you guys, so definitely search Leadership 2017 videos. I'm frozen right now, but can you hear me? Okay, there we go. Okay, so one of the first things that I wrote down when I was there was by Kevin. I figured out who it was. It was Jason Jennings, like one of the keynote speakers.
That's his name.
And he was really talking about business the whole time, which isn't always with a keynote speaker. That's not always like the thing, but he was talking about your why, which we all know we all know that we have to know our why, but he was saying stuff like, if you're thinking like you're doing this because you want to make like millions of dollars, like that's what's in your head, that's why you're not succeeding, because that is not what we do, and with that, like a goal of mine is definitely 100% to have financial freedom. Like I definitely want that, but that's not my why, and I was saying in another video that Kevin and I made that like when I sell a challenge pack, my first thought is not, yes, I just made $40, but it's, yes, I'm helping somebody. Like somebody's life could change now because I just signed them up. And if you lead, with that and stop worrying about the money and stop worrying about the ranks and the numbers and all that, but if you just lead with your heart and your real deep down why do you want to help these people, that's really where you're going to find your success. I mean, I think his was like the 4 secrets to success, and really the gist of it was like, you're not going to be successful if you're doing this for the money. Like, sorry, dogs. You're going to be successful if you truly love helping people in every single way you possibly can. So that I loved. If you can get that, actually, I probably have that too, that I could probably post. Another thing that I really liked was, sorry. Do you like my life? Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Keisha Fitzgerald her speech was, I thought,
Yeah.
it was about how when she started as a coach, she really started out as a part-time coach. She had I think like a corporate position, some big time position at Google, and she really actually loved her job. And when she eventually did become a full-time coach, she was projecting her success onto her new coaches, and they were not understanding why they weren't having the success that she was as fast as it sounded. Like, she would talk to people about how she could work from anywhere, and she was, working on the beach and, doing all these things that we all want to do, but she forgot to tell them, like, you have to start part-time first. You have to slowly ease into this and fall in love with what you're doing to eventually want to create your own success story to go full-time. Does that summarize what she pretty much said? Yep. And it's true. Like, it's really hard because when I think back to 4 years ago, I mean, most of us, we're all coming up on our 4-year anniversary here with Beachbody. It's hard to remember how I first started. And, now having a like page with, 30,000 likes, I use that to find my new challengers. But I have to remember when people are coming in, like, they don't have that. Like, they have to go back to the warm market, and we have to go through that whole 6 months of beginning stuff, and let them form their own story and their success and celebrate the little things. Like, when they hit $100, if they made $100 a month, like, that's a big deal. What are they going to do with that? They just paid for their Shakeology with that, like, stop pushing towards the big picture and celebrate the small victories, because that's going to make them want to just keep going to continue getting these small victories. So I thought that was fantastic. I thought Mel Robbins was unbelievable. You guys have to watch that. I mean, I was in tears at the end of it, and out of every keynote speaker that I've seen in the 4 years that I've been doing this, I thought she was the best I've ever seen. I really, really connected with what she was saying. So definitely take the time to watch that. And then the last thing that I wanted to share was Ruth Schrauner's Scary Goals, and that last year around this time, one of her corporate person asked her, like, well, Ruth, what's your goal though? Like, what's your goal for your team? And she's like, I don't have one. Like, I just, we just work every day, and we work really hard, and that's what we do. And he's like, yeah, but you need to make a goal for them to reach. Like, what are they working towards? Like, there needs to be more of a purpose for you guys to work as a team together. And her big scary goal was to knock Melanie. So she was thinking about, like, what would be the biggest thing that I could do? Like, what would be so crazy, right, that I could get my team to do? And she went to her team and said, what if we knocked Melanie Mitro out of the first spot? Like, what if we were number one? Like, what if we were the team that did it? And that's why she is where she is now. I mean, she's been like 4, 2, 1, 3, like, she keeps coming in and out of it, but she's seen a huge success with that. And it just made me think of past mistakes that I've made. I am elite this year, and last year when I was working towards it, in January of 2016, I was like, okay, I'm going to be elite. But I didn't tell anybody. I was just like, I'm going to do this, and I was just like hoping this one would get to diamond, and hoping this one and dragging this one along. And that was a mistake, and like this whole year I've spent rebuilding, like we spoke about, all of us have said that. And so tonight I'm having a call with my team because I feel like we're finally in a place where I could say this to them. And I'm going to ask them, like, throw this big scary goal out. Like, guys, I want to go for elite next year with all of you. Are you in? And I'm going to explain it to them, like, exactly what has to happen with Hitting Success Club and growing their businesses and everything like that. But if Ruth hadn't said that, like, I wouldn't have even thought to talk to them about it. Like, I would just, I don't know, hope and pray that they hit Success Club. I don't know. I think that's a big mistake on my part that I haven't done. So, you got to make these goals for them to reach. And definitely you need to discuss it with them so they know, and that see if they're on board. And if they're not on board, that's okay. And then you need to find people that do want to reach these goals with you. And so by doing that, I mean, for sure your business will grow. I mean, hold on one second. Okay, last thing I want to say is, I forget who said it, but they make 3 checklists, one for coaches who walk, one for coaches who jog, and for runners. And each week coaches can pick out which one they want. Like if they're very part-time hobby coach, they would take the walk, whatever, a little bit more jogger or runner like us. And every Sunday they have to screenshot their goals for the week and everything that they're planning on doing. And they take this checklist to go through to work on for the week. So yes, if you could, Laura, if you could post those, that'd be so awesome for everybody if you have those. And then I forget who it was, but she was saying like one of her diamonds wanted to quit, and she was like, hold up, like before you just quit, why don't we put the runner checklist away and let's walk for a little bit, you know? And I'm like, gosh, like maybe I wouldn't have lost 7 diamonds if I said that. If I wasn't like, no, don't quit. Come on. You can do it. You know, maybe if I would have taken a step back and been like, all right, well, let's take baby steps. Let's just post once a day. Maybe they'd still be here. So I thought that really hit home too. So those are my biggest takeaways.
And that couldn't have segued more perfectly into our topic of leadership. Thank you so much for sharing that. So I do want to now quickly go over the homework assignment, because this really, Lindsay, that was perfect. Thank you so much. That leads into, maybe if I would have said this, maybe if I would have led a different way, maybe I would have been able to help these people stick around longer and help them better reach their definition of success. So we are going to go around the horn again. I do want to have you guys each share. I think there were 2 things I wanted you to do. Number 1, I wanted you to, says here, I want your definition of leadership. And then the second thing, what you're trying to do to align yourself to that definition. And this is more, I'm hesitant to give my takeaways right now from leadership, because in fact I may want to do a whole different call just on the elite mastermind that we had down there with, you said Jason Jennings, is that who was his name? Phenomenal, just unbelievable. That was my biggest takeaway was his speech. So Jess, we'll have you go first, if that's all right with you and little Ev. Have your definition of leadership and how you're trying to align yourself with that definition.
Okay, hopefully she hangs tight for a little bit. Sorry if there's a meltdown. We had a major one in Trader Joe's yesterday, so we're working on it. But I quickly just jotted down. Mine kind of came from like a collection of quotes that I have up on the back of my screen, because personally for me, this is something that is my major goal this year, is really believing in myself as a leader and allowing myself to take on that role. Because I had such a strong upline that I had been hiding in the letting myself believe I need to be in the shadows of my upline. So for me, I wrote it down: someone who demonstrates what is possible, inspires others to dream more, learn more, and do more, and become more by empowering others and helping them see the areas where they can grow while always continuing to grow yourself. So that's what I wrote down. How am I doing that? Well, Kevin, we spoke yesterday about really diving into the appropriate PD. So I find myself always super attracted to like the warm fuzzy material that, makes you feel really good and gives you some good quotes, but doesn't exactly show you the path of how to truly lead. And so I purchased 3 new books yesterday, and they will be here tomorrow. Thank you, Amazon. And so that is my first step, is working on my own belief in myself as a leader, and also really taking the initiative to find out where my team is and my coaches are and how fast they want to run. So we happened to just chat about reaching out to them individually and really finding out what they want out of this business, and finding out if the actions that they're doing now are aligning with those goals of where they want to be. And then also kind of giving them that little, like, okay, well, you tell me you want to retire from your job, but you're putting in 15 minutes a day. So really helping them just figure out what actions need to be done and that are necessary in order to achieve where they want to be in the business. Instead of me saying everyone needs to be diamond or everyone needs, to retire from their job, it's really just getting an idea of where they need to be and where they want to be and what will help them get there. So that's more of what I'm doing right now.
Perfect. And you brought up something that I didn't post in our homework assignment, but I think I want you guys to each do, because your definition was amazing, but you said it so fast that I wasn't able to really ponder on it. I wonder if you guys could each post your definition of leadership on our group page, because I do want us to reflect on some of these things rather than have you repeat it over and over so I can write it down. Maybe let's just go post that on our page after our call here, obviously, so that we all can better align with that definition of leadership. Perfect. Thank you so much. Jenna, let's have you go next.
All right. So my definition of leadership is really showing what's possible by leading by example and painting a solid vision. And this was kind of a difficult topic for me to reflect on quickly before this call, because it's where I think I struggle with the most and where there's the biggest opportunity for growth for me. But I will say one way that I have been really showing what's possible to my team and not just like telling what's possible is being super transparent about what I'm doing and in my business and the struggles that I have. So it really just makes things a little bit more real for them. Whereas before I wasn't necessarily sharing all of that. Where I think I can definitely improve is getting better at helping them painting that solid long-term vision and including them in goals for the teams for next year. So like I've been listening to all the videos of leadership on YouTube, super obsessed with all of them. Ruth's call really opened my eyes too to really getting the team on board with like achieving this scary goal together as a team, but then really breaking down how we each can play a role in getting there. So that's what I came up with, I guess.
No, that's perfect. And you brought up something that I'm reading, and I'm going to maybe just do a little snippet of the things I'm learning. Is this backwards? How is this? I'm baffled. I was on the call with Jess yesterday, and I'm like, it's backwards to me, but apparently it's not backwards to you. I'm reading this book right now. It's one of my favorites right now. And I'll talk a little bit about that. Jenny, you mentioned a little bit about transparency, and just two little lines here from here. It says, when it comes to leadership, you can't manipulate trust. If you want to develop a relationship of trust with anyone, you have to be completely transparent. The good, the bad, the ugly. And in fact, I think people trust you more when you do come out and say, man, I'm struggling in this area. I'm not perfect. And I need your guys' help along this. I think that's a great strength when it comes to leadership. And in fact, if I can go back just a little bit, on page 2 of this book, it says this: when you can admit you don't have a clue what you're doing, that's when you know you're ready to start the process of becoming an impactful leader. Let's get one thing clear right now. A leader who thinks he or she has all the answers all the time is only a manager, not a leader. It's okay you don't know everything. It's okay you're on a process, on a path. If we just keep showing that highlight reel, and we keep showing that we have the answers and we're always one head above where you are, yeah, you're that manager. I'm diving into my points. I want to hear your guys' points. I'll pause right there. We'll keep moving on. Laura, let's have you go next.
So my definition, I wrote down: to show up and do the required tasks while seeking more opportunities for growth. to lead with integrity, connection, and emotion. So that's what I had written down. And as everyone was talking, in my mind, I had always envisioned I'm drawn to maybe people with stronger leadership, outward type qualities. But in reflecting on this and really what my definition was, what I had envisioned just seems so shallow now, and it's just bizarre. But anyway, I digress. So what am I doing towards this? I think reflecting back on my first year, I did all the wrong things. I attracted people who just wanted to make money and, just do the things, make money. And then I started reading personal development. And then in year 2, I just started to attract people based on the things that I was learning and growing in, and just doing, and still there doing the things. So I think just connecting with people has been something I've always been good at. And I have, speaking to the walk, jog, run coaches, I have a coach who took off sprinting and then just up and stopped. And she's literally been sleeping for the past year and a half. And she's just starting to walk again because I'm still here and I'm still doing the things that she, on a fundamental level, needs as a person and sees that in me as her coach too. So I guess that's kind of what I'm doing.
No, I love that. It's funny how we reflect back. And I hope each of you, as you did this, I wish I would have given you more time. It's my fault. As you reflected back on your definition of leadership, I hope it's changed over the years, and I hope you have changed over the years when it comes to leadership as well. I think it's, and I think we talked about this last time on our mastermind call, but almost like there's the stages of grievance and of death and all those things. I don't want to put on death, but leadership, there's the same cycle when it comes to leadership, how we think we should lead versus how in the end, how we do lead are completely different. And I hope it's changed over the years with you. I love, Laura, that you reflected back on past, on how you brought somebody in and how you led them and how they turned out. And, you think you grab somebody who wants to sprint, like, this is the best thing ever. And then they do hit walls pretty fast. And in fact, there was somebody at leadership, I don't remember who it was, talked about how they, and I don't mean to put this person down, how they don't hold hands, how they just say, look, here it is, what you need to do. If you want to do it, you'll go do it. You'll go do it. And that really got under my skin a little bit, because look, these people, you are not a factor in their definition of success in any way. You say, look, if you want it to happen, you're going to go make it happen. I want those type of people who are ready to run, who don't need to be have their hands held, yada, yada, yada. Then who are you? Like, why are you even around? Like, all you did was get a commission off them, and they took it off all by themselves. That's not leadership. That's not long-term success. That's not what's going to get you to where you want to go. It will come down to you influencing these people and your relationship with them. So you might as well learn how to create relationships where you don't hold hands, but you still influence them to where they get to become successful. I really do feel that you are effective. You can influence somebody's life. Let's figure out how to do it. And that comes down to personal development. I was on my call yesterday with Jess, and we did talk personal development quite a bit. You hear these people on your team who are struggling, who are kind of moping, who kind of the ho-hums around. I can guarantee you what their issue is, and it's personal development, because you can't read personal development and not feel that energy and excitement. And if you really are doing personal development and you're not feeling those things, you're doing the wrong personal development. So it comes down to, we need to fix what you're reading to things you want and things that you are interested in. In fact, I hesitate even recommending this book, because when I got on my call with Jess yesterday, I said, she asked for recommendations. I said, look, you need to figure out what calls to you, what speaks to you, because that's what you're going to read. You're not going to. I just had Doug Moss here recommended a book. I got maybe 2 chapters in, and I was snoozing. It was the most boring book I've ever read in my entire life. But to him, it wasn't. It spoke to him, but it didn't speak to me. So, and I borrowed it from his bookshelf. So one day when he showed up late to work, I kind of slipped in and put the book back on and didn't tell him that I didn't read it. I just picked up a different book. Side note. All right. Okay, so this is a completely embarrassing moment, but Lewis, how do you say your first name? I'm gonna botch it.
It's Lilius, but just call me Lil.
There
Yeah.
it is.
Lil is just easier.
I knew it was Lil, but I didn't know how to say your full name. Lilius. All right, let's hear your definition of leadership, please.
So very similar to everyone else's. Inspiring and supporting others to move forward with purpose towards their personal goals that will also lead to the common goal in the mission of the bigger picture. So what I'm doing right now, number one, and you were just talking about PD, but in September I did Push by Shailene. And if any of you guys have done that book, she talks about your priority statements. And of course, when I did it, the first time I had all this nice, like my family's my priority, my business is my priority. She asked you to choose 3. So I did the whole book. And then I read The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. And I'm reading Braving the Wilderness. And I went back and did my priority statements. I realized that we all have to be our number 1 priority as far as our physical and our mental health. And that's how we're going to be able to give to others and lead others, whether it's leading our family or leading our team. So I decided to stop feeling guilty. I don't know if any of you still hold on to that guilt of like taking care of yourself and saying no to other people and putting yourself first. So that's the first thing I did and took action on, was just to immediately stop feeling guilty and embrace anything I was doing that made me feel energized and stronger. Leading by example with my own personal development and sharing with my team, being vulnerable and sharing with them, this is how I was feeling and this is what this personal development has given me to move forward with. Taking action and trying new things and sharing all of this with my team, and also staying positive, because a lot of like negativity and fear and scarcity mindset was running through my team rampant all through the summer and early fall. The most important thing that I've done is supporting my team by focusing on team culture. I've created a message thread on Facebook Messenger called My Team Office Space. And it's just been like this huge team building thing where everyone's like talking and chatting. And it's been amazing. Everyone's getting to know one another. And just the feedback I got from my team was they wanted to feel like they were going to an office, or that like that camaraderie. And that's how we've created that. I've created a thank you challenge for the month of November, where instead of going for Success Club or going for volume, I am having them screenshot anytime they receive a thank you message from a conversation, whether it's thank you for because I'm joining your challenge, or thank you for sending me that free meal plan. But giving that small win of understanding that it's just about conversations and helping people and supporting them at that level. Celebrating each new challenger, or even if someone will not go for the challenge pack, they take a selfie on our team page and share a little bit about that person that they're helping. And then everyone, like, we usually do GIFs like below of like how we're cheering them on. And I created a new coach email system. I'm only 3 emails in, but I have a new coach from the UK, and I just had my GSR with her this morning, and she was like, it was awesome, because even with the first 30 and all that, she still felt like there was just so much information. And in the emails, I'm just literally like this, and this, and just honed it in on what are those early questions that most coaches ask when they're getting started. And so I need to still improve on that, but I feel like that was a win, especially with things changing over.
Perfect.
So that's it.
Wow, I love all the action items that you're doing to improve leadership on your team. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for sharing. Tara, and let's have you go next. You were at leadership as well. Let's kind of get your definition of leadership and kind of what you're doing to make sure that happens on your team.
My definition of leadership is that I think leadership is a mindset. I don't think anybody has to wait for the title to be called a leader. Nobody can give you that title. It's not some leadership. No one can give you leadership. You have to earn it and claim it for yourself. So I believe leadership is the influence, the social influence that helps you. How am I trying to say? It's the social influence that you have that you're influencing other people, the efforts of other people toward achieving like a greater good. Does that make sense? So I don't think it's anything anyone can give you. I think it's you show it through your actions by how you're influencing other people to do something for the greater good of everyone. I don't think you have to have any personality traits necessarily to be a good leader, because there's many paths to being an effective leader. So it has all to do. I think it has everything to do with just how you show up each day to help other people maximize their own efforts. I hope that makes sense.
Okay.
One of the things that I started, I'm doing an end of year challenge for coaches only on my team, and it started on November 1st, and we're going to go to the end of the year. And it is a daily accountability group for their health and fitness journey, and then 3 times a week they have a coach assignment. And so what I'm trying to do is really make sure I understand what their goals are so I can meet them where they're at, whether they're my PS coaches or somewhere else in the downline, kind of going along with the whole walker, jogger, runner PDF. So I liked that, the thought of that. But one thing that I did note is, I'm kind of going off topic a little bit, but like when people were commenting, one of the things I made them say is to put a number goal on how much money they want to earn per week. Because people, I think, are always afraid to talk about money. And I think that's stupid. So I made them say how much money they want to earn every week, like what's their goal. And I told them they weren't allowed to say that they wanted to make $100 if they really wanted to make 1,000, just because they were afraid to say 1,000. So, and that assignment was just last night, and I just read through all their comments. And something that was super interesting to me was that almost everyone had an average of wanting to make between like 500 and 1,000. But then they were all like, there's a lot of new coaches in the group, and they were all like, but it's really hard. I didn't realize how hard it would be. And so I went live in there a little bit ago, and they all were commenting, and I was talking about, like, what's the hard part? Because nothing that we do, it's not hard. It's time consuming. You have to set aside time to do it, but it's really simple. Like, so I was like, you guys, it's everything. Making friends is easy. Okay. It's simple. You just have to spend time doing it, that kind of stuff. And they'd be like, it's hard. But then I realized they weren't doing the vital behaviors. So I'm like, so it's not hard. And a lot of them, and they almost even had like these aha moments, which is so stupid, because how many times do we say you need to be doing the vital behaviors? But then they're like, oh, that's why it's hard. I'm not getting anybody to buy anything from me because I didn't share my journey for the last 2 weeks. Yeah. That's why nobody bought a challenge pack, or because I didn't post for so many days, or I haven't been getting results, or I haven't this, that, and the other. So there was a lot of aha moments, which to me were really dumb, because so I feel like I put that back on myself. I'm like, what am I not, as a leader, how am I not influencing them in the right way to make them realize what they need to be doing along the way? And so so my point is, I created this end of year group to try and make sure that I am being the leader that they all need me to be, to help them along the way, wherever they're at with whatever their goals are, and by doing these types of assignments along the way. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, I got you. That's right. You took us on a journey, but I followed. That was great.
Okay.
That was good. Okay, we only have a few minutes left. I do want to make sure we stick to our 45-minute mark here each time. Let me just quickly give you my thoughts here on this assignment, on this homework assignment, because once again, am convinced that successful teams are successful because they have a leader who knows how to lead. And it is funny, I'm not going to drop names because I don't need to do that. But I was on a call last week with somebody, and she gave an early definition of leadership. And what I mean by early is what we probably all thought at one point or another. Hopefully we don't think this now, but at one point or another was her definition of success. And it was by leading by example. That was it. Leading by example is definitely an aspect of leadership, but she just figured, and she is one of our top, SC point earners in our region, but she can't grow a team. And so she just keeps thinking, well, I'll just work harder. I'll just show them that it can be done, so I'll recruit more people. And then hopefully my team will see that you can do this as well. But what actually has happened is the gap has widened. Now people are looking at her going, holy crap, she is this amazing Wonder Woman. There's no way I could do what she does, because she's killing it right now and I'm not. She is just amazing. And so her goal is being thwarted because it's not working. She's just leading by example. So let me give you, I am going to go off of this book really quick, an interesting concept that maybe we know, but it hasn't been verbalized yet. Let me give you this book's, the author, thank you. Jack R. Christensen. It's spelled Christiansen, but it's Christensen. And Ron and Tracy are the two authors. Okay. So let me give you their definition of leadership. And I will post this on the group page after, so you don't have to frantically write this down. I'll go post this. And as I hope all of you do, once again, please go post your definition of leadership. Leaders lead, inspire, motivate, and maintain motivation. They give life to their vision, and they work to instill that vision in all with whom they associate. They walk the walk and they talk the talk. Great leaders understand that they must lead themselves before they can lead and inspire others. No one will be perfect at leadership. No one. Yet all leaders can be perfect at trying and always be striving to be a little better each day at what they do, how they do it, and knowing why they do it. I thought that was a great definition of success. And it brought me to, of leadership. And that brought me to this chapter 2, and which is called Taking the Leap. This was really interesting to me because I think I mostly have had 2 ways of leadership, but there's a third. It says here that, it says you will have to choose what kind of leader you want to be. You must decide where you will focus your attention. Many people at the starting point decide that profitability and getting the work done is their main concern. The people who do the work come second. To them, so this is obviously not the best definition. To them, the bottom line dollars are the most important thing. We call these people managers. So that's the definition. If it comes down to profitability, getting the work done, bottom line is, look, SC points and dollars, you're a manager. Others decide that people are the most important thing. Taking care of their people is the most important thing, and bottom line dollars is secondary. These people we call mentors. And at this point, I'm like, oh yeah, it's either you're a manager or you're a mentor. But then they say this: leaders must choose both. They get things done and they value people. A leader combines the best of managing and mentoring. There's no shortcuts or easy outs. That's why very few people achieve the role of leader. If you can't develop both skills, you should at the very least have the humility to hire people who have the expertise in the areas that you aren't strong in. I thought this was phenomenal. So it's manager, mentor, leader. are the three things that they bring up in this book. And I'll stop there because we're out of time. But a lot of times I feel like I talk to managers. Tell me how many points you have. Tell me where you're at with your dollars. Tell me where you are with life. It's just report back to me. And that's it. That needs to happen. Don't get me wrong. That needs to happen. But if that's all we do, then we're just managing people. We're not a leader. You're just somebody who manages people. And people don't follow managers. People follow leaders. So the flip side of that, mentoring. Where's the warm fuzzies, the good? Hey, I'm going to help you become. It's the warm fuzzies of life. I love that. In fact, that's probably where I focus too much on. But that you get the trust, which is good, but maybe you don't get the hardcore action that produces results. You have people who like you, people who trust you, but they don't do the work. As always, in everything that we do, there's that happy medium. And the leader knows when to push for numbers and points and knows when to give that love. But you don't just know it, you have to learn it. And I didn't read it, but that's one of the things it says in here. It's a skill, but it's a skill that can be learned. So if you're not, and I am going to say daily, working on improving you as a leader, I don't see you growing or being successful. And maybe that's too blunt or too hard of a point to make, but I really do believe that. Sometimes we focus too much on how can I get more people to work? How can I get them to want this? Look, it's going to come down to you. You need to be a better person. You need to be that leader so that you know when and how to talk to people to get them to move, to make them trust you. And then once they trust you, to say, yep, I see the vision. I see where you're taking this team and I'm on board. That is because you had an influence over these people. It's not just going to magically happen. You talk to them on a one-on-one. You know everything about them, and you know when to push and pull and when to sit back. That's a skill that you need to learn on a daily basis. So my strong recommendation, and leadership is probably my favorite topic to talk about, because if you can master leadership, I will guarantee you success. I will guarantee you success in this business and success in life. You will be someone who people look up to as a leader, not just as a coach. I hope that's what you're after. I hope that's what you want you want somebody to say, and I'm going to do a post about this. And so I'll give you a quick sneak peek into it, and then I'll stop, and then we'll be done. My favorite Disney movie, hands down, no questions about it, cartoon Disney movie, is Hercules. I don't know if you guys ever seen that movie. I love it. It's my favorite Disney movie. And one of the, and so if you don't know it, Hercules, he's a nobody, goes from zero to hero, as the song says. And he has somebody who trains him. His name's Phil. I don't know what he is, little guy. But Phil's goal is for the stars, the gods and the stars, to create Hercules, and for somebody to say, hey, that's Phil's boy. No, not hey, that's Hercules. It's hey, that's Phil's boy. That's what I want you guys to want. I want people to say, like, oh my gosh, so and so has developed so many great leaders. That's Sandra's girl. That's Jenna's girl. They were trained. They were led by Tara Ann. That's what I want people to say. That's leadership. So, anyways, I got to get my soapbox. So this is I love mastermind groups. I love you guys are participating in these. Let's continue this conversation on our group page. I want you guys to maybe even take just a few seconds and say, okay, what leader do I want to become? And what are the steps that I need to take to get there? And start training yourself, start purchasing, going to events on leadership. And then go post your definition of leadership so that we all can reflect on maybe how we can be better, on the areas that we can be better, so that we can get people to really move their business forward. Great job. Thank you so much for participating. We will see you guys. Oh, it's just about time. Okay. All right. I got to go. So we'll see you guys a little bit later. Thanks so much. See ya.